Welcome to my podcast. Today we are diving into one of the most fundamental ideas in microeconomics, how economists derive the demand curve. Even if you are seeing the downward sloping curve 100 times, understanding where it actually comes from is essential to mastering consumer theory. So, what is the demand curve really? And before we talk about deriving it, let's remind ourselves what a demand curve represents. A demand curve shows the relationship between price and quantity demanded, holding everything else constant, like income, taste, and price of other goods. But economists didn't just assume the curve slopes downwards, they derived it from deeper principles about consumer preferences and optimization. And then we have number two, the utility maximization foundation. Let's imagine a consumer called her Sarah, maybe, buys two goods, apples and all other goods in a big bundle called composites. Her goal was to maximize utility, her level of satisfaction, and subject to her budget constraint. So economy starts from a set of preferences represented by indifference curves, a budget line determined by her income and prices. And then we have deriving the demand curve using indifferences curves. Here is the textbook way it's done. Draw an initial budget line, find the optimal consumption point, change the price of apples, find the new tangency point, record the new quantity of apples. We have the alternative derivation using marginal utility. Another way to derive the demand curve is marginal utility. The consumer buys apples until marginal utility of apples, price of apples is equals to marginal utility of other goods, price of other goods. If the price of apples falls, the ratio changes. To restore equality, the consumer must consume more apples, lowering marginal utility and rebalancing the equation. We have the market demand curve. Everything we have just discussed gives us the individual demand curve, but economists often need the market demand curve. Why is this matters? Understanding where the demand curve comes from helps explain why consumer choices respond to price changes, how farms set prices, the welfare impacts of taxes or subsidies, and why demand curves shift over time. And mostly importantly, it connects the demand curve to real human behavior rather than treating it as a standalone diagram. And then, so there you have it. The demand curve is not just a theoretical doodle, it's the result of careful reasoning about preferences, prices, and choices. Next time you see that downward flow, you will know exactly what's behind it. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it, review it, and stay tuned for more economic insights simplified. Thank you.